We are artists. We believe that the purpose of education is not to teach what to learn, but how to learn. The mind is like a parachute. It functions best when it is open. Art Achieve is here to put art back into education.
American education is in decline. The education system is attempting to boost it with STEM. It's an emphasis on science and math, all left brain learning. What is missing in the STEM picture? The arts. Students with the arts in their curriculum score, on average, 100 points higher on SATs than those who do not. Yet funding and subsequently opportunities for the arts continue to decline, so education in other areas is also in decline.
So that's the problem. Art Achieve is the answer. Art Achieve is online self-directed drawing instruction that's available to parents and educators with absolutely no background in the arts to teach art to their children. The tutorials are populated by real artists through crowdsourcing and donation.
A sample lesson looks something like this. We start with an image that's an exotic image from somewhere around the world. We tell a little bit about that particular thing, in this case a Haitian gecko. And then we give time to practice. You take the image that's on the top and draw it in the bottom right underneath it. And then we use a guided drawing one line at a time. This is at the end of the drawing to show you how to draw that particular thing. And then we give students an opportunity to finish the image on their own. After that, there's a time for reflection, and that's the end of the lesson. Last night we had a test audience of 2 children. One of our team members took the sample home during dinner time with guests, used this lesson, and this was the results.
Thank you, John. So as mentioned previously, one of our core concepts is bringing art to everybody in the community. We're going to do this to build a massive user base that includes artists, parents, educators, and artists. We're going to do this so that we can leverage our advertising and make strategic partnerships with researching firms who want access into these hard-to-reach demographics. We're going to do this by keeping our operating costs very low. We're not going to expect to see much income for the first 12 months with this market. We've supported this with some primary research and direct interviews. We spoke with some mothers who are homeschooling their children, and some of the common themes are up above. These themes included such things as art is a very important part to their children's development, that art is declining in the public schools and that they wish they could devote more time to the arts, but that they don't feel that they have the skills necessary to teach arts. We also heard themes that they would be willing to pay to a level for these art educations. However, if we did that, we would be excluding parts of the market, and we want a full market penetration strategy to include every single person in the market. The best way to do that is to be free. We've supported this with an online survey that we commissioned yesterday. Some of the statistics are on the screen, you can see, and it supported the interviews that we had with these homeschooling mothers. Once again, they really want to see it, and we feel that the validation is there to support our model.
Okay, and so to support the mobile market, we mocked up a tablet app. So as you can see, there is simple instruction, and there's also verbal instruction, and a place for the student to follow along on a mobile device. It's incentivized for the artist with an About Me page so that they can showcase their gallery. And it's incentivized for the students with a badges system for completing more lessons. So you can become a bug expert if you love drawing bugs or something like that. And the website, all of the same content is available through the website if a student can't afford a mobile device.
This is our implementation plan. At present, we have 22 drawings commissioned. We have a website being constructed right now, and we have our business side taken care of. Within the next 60 days, we're going to bring our website online and get these drawings on there as interactive videos. We're going to begin aggressively building our artist community so that we can get our community in place, and we're going to start our children's networking abilities as well through the use of comparisons with other people and games and such. In the next 60 days, we're going to pitch and refine our products by speaking to these various groups.
In summary, we need to invest in education, and to invest in education, we need to invest in art education.
Your time's up. Give him a hand. All right, so that's Art Achieve. So now I'd like to give the judges an opportunity to provide feedback or ask questions. Would anybody like to go first? All right, here we are.
Hi. Thanks for your pitch. I love free stuff, but I want to understand your business model a little bit more. How do you plan on keeping your app alive if you're not generating revenue? Maybe I missed that.
We need to work this out a little bit further, but basically what we're doing is giving access to people that want an advertising base and a base for research. So we're selling that kind of resource. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to add a little on what John said. The demographics that we're targeting, we feel, are some of the most sought-after demographics out there: educators, teachers, and children. We feel we can.
Why are those the most sought after, though?
They're very hard to target traditionally, these markets.
And they're lucrative.
We feel that with advertising revenue and strategic partnership deals with certain companies, done tactfully, of course, and with all the proper methods in place, we could capitalize on this market and turn a profit.
Cool. Yeah, I'm less concerned about how you make money in the early stages, because it's more important to build a great product. And so thank you guys for the pitch. I think it's a really important space. I had one question. That SAT statistic that you had on, I think, on the third or fourth slide, what was that stat?
This for 100
I
points
can-
higher.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
documentation that we found, which was from not just a survey, but an actual study,
Yeah.
indicated it was actually 103 points for individuals that had art in their curriculum as opposed to those that did not.
So that's a wow
That's,
statistic.
that is,
Oh, yeah.
that's the most
Yeah.
significant statistic that we
So
found.
just as a feedback for when you start to pitch, put that up there in big bold letters and let it resonate, because I think that's kind of the quantifying statistic for what you guys are trying to do. So anyway, great job.
Thank you.
If I may real quick, we bounced around a lot of different ideas for how to monetize this product. We recognize that it's a hybrid between a nonprofit and a profit. So our initial startup would come from funding for the arts and so on and so forth. That's the initial startup. The goal being create a community that is specific to an age group. Our category was 2nd through 8th graders because it's a basic art program which we intend to develop. And once we have that community created, then we can have sponsorships, but we also bounced around the idea of actually selling the artist's work for them. Because there are some phenomenal artists out there, or there's grandparents, or aunts and uncles. So there's a lot of different ways to monetize the creativity that our program creates.
So is the way that I heard it, that the customer might be the mother who really wants their child, who might not be getting the art exposure from their school, to have the opportunity to train that side of their brain. So is that the customer? The mom?
Exactly. It's the parent or the teacher who doesn't have art in their classroom, doesn't know how to teach art, but would like to have art.
Well, I mean, the teacher has the curriculum that she's supposed to teach. Personally, I think the mom is a great target, and I think that she would pay for it. So.
So I'm part of the River Point Academy here, and everything is STEM, STEM, STEM. That's what we're all hearing all the time. And if you could gear the lessons.
Lisa, can you hold the mic closer?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So if you could even gear the lessons towards maybe what's in the national STEM curriculum, so that if they're building robots that day, they have to illustrate their, robot manual, and it's part of the lesson to integrate it, because you might get pushback because STEM is becoming common in our vocabulary, and I agree with you that art is being forgotten.
We're beginning to address that. We're making curricular links with every one of our lessons. and we're becoming more aware of exactly what the STEM things are, or the STEM topics. So we're moving in that direction, yes.
All right, I think our time's about up. Did you want to get one more in?
Sure.
Cool.
I was just wondering how you're planning on reaching out to the artists that will be supplying the artwork to students.
So a couple months ago, I started teaching art classes for free just because I was so excited about getting kids to learn about art. And there is a huge online community for tutorials that's scattered all over the place. And if we could bring it all here, it would be a great resource for people who wanted to learn how to draw.
What we're doing is providing a formula, a skeleton, so that it's easy to make a lesson, and that way we can also make sure that we've got high quality lessons.
All right, with that, I think we're going to call it time. Give him a round of applause.
Okay.
You want it? Okay.
Sorry, I just want. Okay. Ready? Yep.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Murphy. I'm one of the co-founders of Buya.co. We're here today to revolutionize the way that you buy and sell real estate. What I mean by that is we're an online platform that will allow buyers and sellers to communicate in a way that we've never seen before. Let's look at the common way that a buyer buys a home. They go online and they search through all these different websites, through listings after listings. It's exhausting. It's a lot of work if you're a buyer. Well, let's look at another really common problem that we have. How about dating? You go to a bar and you look for Mr. and Mrs. Right, and it's exhausting and it seems like a needle in a haystack. Well, Match.com solved that, right? You can find someone who's passionate about Picasso in a minute online through that service. Well, why don't we do that with real estate? Let's connect buyers and sellers faster for a greater efficiency in the market. So Buya.co is here to do that. What we've done is we've taken that idea of creating a greater efficiency and built a gorgeous branded website with excellent user interface that really will catch your typical buyer and seller. Next, we have a fabulous business plan that we'll be passing around so you guys can take a peek at that. And this is the coolest part. We have a mobile app that will walk you through basically a demo of how this site is intended to work. First of all, as a buyer, you're always free because we want you to come and have sellers vie for your business, if you will. Now, sellers will pay, but let's just give you an example of how this works. Basically, you go to the app, you log in as a registered user, so a buyer in this example. You say, I'm a buyer. Then you put in your criteria. And then houses come up that may or may not meet your search criteria. And you say, yes, I like it, or no, I'll pass on that. And then right away you get to say why you decided to pass. In this example, too small. However, you do have the option of letting the seller contact you directly. So as a seller, if you've ever wondered why you have 1,000 people looking at your home online, but nobody is actually calling to see it, yeah, you can find out for sure. So for instance, you say that, and then all of a sudden that seller gets a text message that says, guess what? Someone turned down your home. Do you want to call them? Well, if you can for $1. Call them and tell them, or email them or contact them. We give you that option. It's going to revolutionize the process. Now, we love this idea. What about everybody else? Through surveys, we found that 75% of the people who said that they've purchased a home said, they kind of settled. Well, did they run out of time or just get exhausted with the process, or who knows? But 75% is sure a lot of people when that's one of your biggest purchases, in our opinions. Well, now let's see what sellers had to say. We asked sellers, if we gave you a list of qualified buyers, would you pay for it? Well, not only did a couple of people say yes, 100% said yes. We want that list and we'll pay you for it. And we said, okay, how much would you be willing to pay? Without any prompting, they said, around $250. So, right there, we have people willing to buy a service that is not even out there yet. So, next, we have a couple different options. We figure we can either charge a percentage commission or charge an upfront fee. Basically, it's up to the seller. The buyer, of course, it's always free. Now, Couple other revenue options. We also have the direct messaging capability, like we mentioned, where you can pay for additional contacts, like we talked about. If the seller wants to know why you didn't come or re-entice you back in, they can pay extra for a higher level of communication. In addition, we've barely even tapped into the lead generation sources that we have through different providers like mortgage lenders, brokers, agents, and other service providers. Now, our campaign is going to be very local to begin with, social media based. We can go back to sellers here in the market now, sellers who've previously given up on the process, or other agents to bring their sellers and buyers together. Collaborate, and then we can take it on a more regional, national scale. Now, why are we the people to do this? Not only is our Buy.co group so stoked about this process, we have a killer team with great market data, incredible market knowledge, started businesses before, and are incredibly tech savvy. I think you get better buy Baya. So thank you for your vote. Thanks for your time.
Okay, so I'm going to pass the mic over to our esteemed panel of judges. Would one of you like to start out with some feedback or a question?
Okay. So, great presentation.
Thank you.
Wonderful. The first line in the business plan is the real estate industry is drowning in antiquated processes and efficiencies. Maybe that should be inefficiencies. So one of your competitors would be Trulia,
Yes.
who just crushed it in their IPO. So I don't know if it's antiquated or inefficient, because those guys are really killing it. And so is Zillow, and hopefully Redfin for our fund will be doing well. And then, so as far as the presentation goes, I guess what really makes you different, from my perspective, is the sellers would get the opportunity to understand why buyers pass on their property. And I think that's interesting. It's data, and data is always good.
Correct.
What I don't quite understand is how you would know if someone is a qualified buyer.
I'm glad you brought that up. First, you brought up a point of how we're different from Trulia and Zillow. Trulia and Zillow are very specific towards sellers. It's a lot of information on properties. It allows buyers to search, but it's almost a one-way information stream. You have no communication with those sellers if you have further information, or even to have a seller say, hey, this is my property, or an agent identify the buyers in the marketplace. What we're doing here is we're saying you can be a verified buyer on this website, which means that you'll have more people bidding or contacting you to purchase their property, which creates a greater market efficiency.
What makes you a verified buyer?
And I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a verified buyer would mean they are willing to supply a pre-approval letter and submit it online. Of course, all their contact information and everything else remains anonymous, but if they're willing to go through that process, we know that they're verified, and so it verifies the information that they're putting on their profile. Great question, though.
Okay, well, the way that Trulia and Zillow make money is the agents and the advertising and having those premium subscribers.
Correct.
Is that part of the business model at all?
Absolutely. Where the eyeballs go, the revenue follows. And if we get the buyers on the site and the sellers follow, we know that any other stakeholders like lenders or mortgage brokers are going to follow in due time. Absolutely. Great question.
I don't necessarily have a question, but you did a great job.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And there is a need there. You have a lot of competition, but me being Chinese, I don't mind paying for a service, but I definitely don't like continuously getting dinged. And that's probably one of the things that popped up, getting charged $1 here, getting charged $1 there, is a negative aspect for me. So are you going to keep that within your financial monetization strategy? Do you see that as being feasible, or would you get pushback like me?
Well, you bring up a really good point, and I think just like any other subscription-based service, you can have different levels of communication, different levels of service. Someone can come on and say, I want to have unlimited contact with buyers or sellers, and a buyer can come on and say, I don't want any contact, or I only want email contact. So we're really fine-tuning how that communication will flow. But you bring up a really good point. We do have to offer different levels, because this isn't a one-size-fit-all model, and we haven't created it as such.
I thought you did a great job. And I can see where this would be really useful, and I understand how the current models are sort of a one-way stream.
Correct.
And if I have an interest in a home, I have to pick up the phone and talk to that realtor, which I'm always hesitant to do because you never know when you're gonna get them off the phone. And you never know, they gotta call you back, a dozen times when you really were just curious about a, property. And I think if you can do it through an app, and be able to have a dialogue that way with the realtor until you know that you're really interested, I think it's great, because I think a lot of, even buyers, even if they look at it and they think it's their dream house, there's a negative to having to call that realtor. Maybe the realtor doesn't answer the phone, and you have to leave a message, or it's nice to be able to do it through an app.
Correct, and you bring up a really good point. Agents still can have a level of involvement in this, and if you said, this is too much work, I don't want to be the one calling these buyers, an agent can kind of handle that for you, but you have the option, and that's something that you don't have in the current model. Absolutely.
All right, I think that's it. Let's give her a round of applause.
All right, so imagine you are on a business trip to a city that you've never been to before. How do you decide where to eat? There's so many different resources out there. What if there was a simpler solution? What we do is we reach out, we grab all of that information, aggregate it together, and present it to you in a really easy to understand format. So that benefits not only the end consumers, but that can also benefit the businesses. For the consumers, what that looks like is an app, and that's what we have developed this weekend for you. For the business side, what that looks like is a dashboard, and it's a compilation of all of this information that's out there and available, but in an easy to read and understand format. So the whole purpose of ChowRank and what we do is to create a relationship and a dialogue between the consumers and the businesses. So for instance, if a consumer has a horrible experience at a restaurant, the restaurant can find out about it instantly and be able to respond in a positive way, apologize or accommodations. But this could also work to their benefit. If a customer has a great experience, the restaurant's notified and they can reward those customers, creating a cycle between the two. So why is this important? Why is there a need for this? Well, the restaurant industry is an extremely competitive market. 1 in 4 fail within the first year, and 3 out of 5 fail within year 3. So there's a definite need for this product. But at the same time, that presents a market for us because there's over 970,000 restaurants in the United States. And that's just one of our customers. The other customer we have are mobile app users, which now is approximately 50% of the US population. So why we need to know about these two separate markets, we need to find where they intersect. Where do they meet? And we discovered in a pool of a little over 50 people that 72% eat out 2 to 10 times per month. But what we found more interesting is that 16% utilize these review websites more when they're in cities that they haven't been to before. And that's really somewhere where we come into play. That is where ChowRank can really be of value, is when you are in a new setting that you don't know or understand. How are we going to do this? We're going to work face-to-face, and that means working with the end users, but also the consumers. So for the face-to-face component, we are all over social media, and we are talking face-to-face with people, finding out what pain points they have, and finding ways to solve them. As far as the businesses go, that means going in there and explaining the value that our product provides and making sure that we're really accommodating their needs. So moving beyond that, we need to really brand our image, and we really are going to work our best to really promote our personal business, which in turn helps those smaller businesses. It gains them exposure because by promoting us, we're promoting them as well. And the goal is to utilize advertising that exists out there, not only to gain us exposure, but again, to gain those exposure for the smaller businesses. In another study that we discovered, we realized that 2 out of 5 Americans purposefully put information that they hope influences others online. This is kind of dangerous, and what we do at ChowRank is we aggregate that information and we provide it to the user. basically what we discovered is word of mouth is really effective. And so this is just showing that we have obstacles, and we have discovered that word of mouth is our biggest obstacle. At the same time though, it could be a huge opportunity. In this example, if you have one bad experience, they tell 2 people, then those people tell people, and that could be a huge vicious monsters that restaurants cannot ignore. And what our business provides is a way to react to those responses, and the hope is to increase your chow rank score. So you have a bad visit, a bad feedback, you can react to that, and the hope is to not only increase your score, but that will also increase the efficiencies of your business. So with more users on the consumer component, we could also have more value for our product, not only for our company, but for those businesses that we're working with. So we are Chow Rank. We are the trusted source for providing customer confidence and as well as providing insight to their experiences. This is our team.
Perfect timing too, right as the 5-minute mark was winding down. All right, first commenter question.
You did a great job. Congratulations. I really would like you to take a little moment to explain to me more about how you're going to monetize this, because I really don't see it in this presentation. And secondly, I don't really see a defined value proposition. Aggregation, there's tons of aggregators in multiple industries. How is your aggregation? How is your aggregation tool uniquely different? If you're going to aggregate data, what from that aggregation is a value proposition that I would want?
All right, so after we first talked to you, when you had a little bit of skepticism, what we did is we went out and contacted restaurant owners, previous and current. And what we found is the value that our product provides isn't necessarily that information, because regardless, it's still daunting. As a business owner, you don't have time to deal with it. But what the value we provide is that notification. So instead of finding a review from 4 years ago that you can't do anything about, you find it instantly, and then maybe you can save yourself and do damage control for your business. And, oh yeah, go ahead.
So another thing we've looked at is initially aggregating the information. That's our way to get started and get going in these markets, but then providing feedback mechanisms. At the point that they're seeing the rating, they can tell us if they're going to act on that or not. So we get some feedback right there to know how accurate that score is. And then we're also looking at doing a push notification, maybe an hour or so after they decide they're going to go to that restaurant. We could give them a quick survey, ask them how the experience was. That information could be given to the restaurants at some point as a way to monetize. But then what we're looking at is using those reviews and that feedback that we're gathering as a way to eventually just circumvent the aggregating that we're doing.
I love restaurants and I love reading reviews, so this is cool. One thing that stands out to me, it sounds kind of small, but I'm in advertising, so it stands out really strongly to me, is the name. The word rank can have a double meaning, so I would consider possibly changing it.
Good point.
I thought you did a really good job. What wasn't clear to me, I have 2 questions, is how do you find a restaurant? I mean, your example said, you were walking past Luigi's, and then you wonder, oh, let's eat at Luigi's. But I travel a lot, and what I've started to rely on is Open Table. I'm sure you know that product. And I know it's different than what I think you're proposing here. But how do you how does the person find the restaurant? And secondly, then how are you different than your competition?
Yeah, we definitely would tap into geolocation for the mobile app, as well as they're on desktop as well. And we've talked about using integrated with OpenTable as well. Another thing that we want to do at some point is integrate with social in a really meaningful way. A lot of people may not do a review or rating of a restaurant, but they're doing things like taking pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, they're liking the restaurant's page, they're liking everything the restaurant posts, and if we can connect the users to their Facebook accounts and those other sources, we can find out a lot more about what they think of that restaurant. And then if we're friends and you like that restaurant, then I probably will like that restaurant too, and so that could affect the challenge as well.
So okay, so I'm in a hotel, I don't know my neighborhood, but you can tell me within walking distance where to go in the ranks for those restaurants. Okay.
That's what was happening on the app.
Oh, okay. And then, how are you different? or maybe there's nothing like this? Who are your competitors?
How's it different than Yelp?
How is it different than Yelp is, we're creating an algorithm that is, a lot of the Yelp reviews, they might not be recent enough. With some of the feedback mechanisms, that's gonna also adjust the score. We're also taking different sources, so we're not just Yelp. We're looking at, Foursquare, probably Facebook, Urban Spoon as well. So we're taking all those sources that some people, they may go to Yelp, that may not be enough for them. The reviews are there, it's not meaningful enough for them. They might then go to another source. So we're bringing all that in together in one place. We're also gonna allow them to link off to those other sources as well if they wanna dig deeper.
Our survey suggested that that was the way that most people did it. They have different reasons for going to different sites, and what we're doing is taking all of that aggregate data and giving a solid score that represents all of them in one go.
So I got a question, developer in the room, so I'll delve in onto the app. I saw the video, I love the little app demonstration. I'm wondering how much of that did you get done? What we were seeing up there, was it really a mock-up? Or were you actually doing aggregation at that point? How did the development go?
What we showed was a mock-up. We did have a great developer here digging into all the APIs, seeing how much data we could get, what restrictions, if any. So we basically did a lot of homework on what's going to happen for the aggregation, and creating that algorithm is probably the biggest task. So we basically have a working demo at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, time's up. Good job, guys. What's up, guys? Happy weekend. Startup weekend, we had a great time. Great event. On Friday, Lindsay, she pitched a wonderful idea for a parking app. And the basic concept was that we could collect payment at a parking lot on the phone. Awesome idea, right? Well, sad news is about 10 or 15 other people are doing it. So, as they say in development terms, we had a pivot. So pivot we did. We built together and developed a new strategy. Lindsay, how about you talk about that?
So what we came up with is a way for local business owners to list their lots as available for parking after hours when they're not using it anyway. So we went to find someone who is a local business owner to talk about that, and we found Terry Garris at KXLY, and here's what she had to say about it.
Nice. Well, she said a lot.
Basically what she said is that her lot sits empty and she could be making money off of it. So we crunched some numbers because we were happy to hear Terry was interested, and found out that using just the Chiefs games that she cited as her location directly across from the Spokane Arena supports, she could use those 43 Chiefs games in this 2012 season with an 80% occupancy, which is pretty conservative, at $5 per space, and make over $12,000 with just that one series of events. So we were happy to hear she was interested. We moved on to talk to consumers to see if they would be interested in finding parking with their phones and using their phones to pay for it. Turns out they were interested too. So we built a business model around it. Using a transaction fee based model, we can charge a percentage on each parking space without any startup costs to the local business, and find a way to meet their needs while making $4,300 per year profit on that same lot with that same series of events for Parquet. So we wanted to build the app, and we did.
And build we did. Go to the Google App Store now. You can download this. Our developers have cranked out nearly 2,000 lines of code putting together our mobile app as well as our website. And we're actually pulling data here. I want to take you through here on our schizophrenic website apparently, but I can assure you it is beautiful. So the basic concept is on the mobile aspect. We'll be having a phone on us and we'll be driving around. We need to find parking. And this will geolocate us, of course, and then point us to where the closest locations are. KXLY's first. Awesome. So we go in there, we can get a little more detail about the app, and it'll show a photo so we know where we're going, as well as give us an opportunity to buy on the phone, like we originally intended.
from there, using Google Maps on Android, we'll be able to get directions straight to the location. Let's take a look at the website. And if you are an epileptic, I apologize. I think YouTube.
Let's swap.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll give you a couple extra seconds. Oh, not your fault.
Yeah. That's a female one. That's it. We're going male to male. So. Here, quickly. I think I know what the problem is.
We might have too many things open, right?
Yeah, I think it's too many items open. Here we go. That should fix it. Give it a second. There we go.
All right. So where are we going to go? We're going to go see some Spokane Chiefs, and let's do it tomorrow because startup weekend wasn't enough for me. Boom. Oh, Wi-Fi. Okay.
There you go, try that again.
So, we have cursed the technology gods, and as demos go...
Here we go. It's up.
Give it up for Emerson. We fool you not. We have a real website, and it's working. It's live. You can go there now, parquet.com. This is a user. They'd be able to find their parking by, as you can see, looking at the top 6 choices. If you were KXLY and you wanted to list your property, you'd be able to log into here and see your map, see your locations here, and then see some statistics of how much money you've earned so far and where your property details are, things like that.
But that's not all we did with our weekend. We also have a complete business plan ready for review. As you saw, the working mobile app, screenshots do not work. The sign designs with a sample printed already for the lots. The business card design is complete, ready for print. We have a pretty impressive social media presence as well. And as Eric mentioned, that cost us nearly 2,000 lines of code. So what we're ready to do now is to go talk to local business owners and find out if they're interested in using our platform. And for tonight, we're just going to...
Today, we will parquet.
Hey, you guys, good job. Sorry about the technology. That is not their fault at all.
Yeah. We have too many windows open.
So we're working on that. But good job, guys. We gave them a little bit of extra time because it wasn't their doing. So next up.
All right, nice job during that whole thing there. Technical questions, or at least maybe.
We'll bring up our devs.
How are you going to track? Are you planning to track the number of spaces available, or just the fact that there's availability?
Yeah. So I'll show you.
Oh, I like it.
As you can see, we've got the number of spaces in there.
Yep.
And they'll be able to do that from their dashboard and put how many spaces they have available. And then as we sign up people, register people, I should be louder. As we register people, then we'll be able to keep track of the inventory.
The idea is you're going to have somebody at the lot marking the site off, or
Excellent question. We have both, actually. So we have a premium model for people that need attendants to help them out. And then we have a more basic level that is maybe someone works from home or someone's working a night shift. They don't need a person to help them out.
So it appears that you guys really kicked ass this weekend.
Yeah?
Thank you.
It also looks like you've accounted for everything, so I'm going to ask a question, and you can slap me around and tell me this is okay. But did you do a trademark search? I love your name. Did you do a trademark search? Something you should probably think about.
Well, I mean, I have not done a trademark search, but generally when you have the domain.
We own the domain.
We have the domain.
Okay, great.
Parquet.com.
Parquet.com.
And our YouTube channel has a really impressive endorsement from Tammy Garris at KXLY. So
Yeah.
if you guys get a chance.
That's live as well.
So I love the idea. Have you guys ever heard of Parking Panda?
No.
So they do something pretty similar. It started out with just driveways, and now they do churches and schools. But they were definitely just focused on like people going to the airport and leaving the car at someone's house for 3 or 4 days. So I would look at that. But otherwise, I think it's an awesome idea. I really, really do. It's just if someone else has already done it, then it gets a little dicier.
Yeah, we didn't see anyone doing the event,
Yeah,
kind of where it's real high demand for parking and spaces are limited.
Totally.
Anything else from the panel? No? All right, give a round of applause.
Hello. My name is Marcus Ford, and I am a victim of the economic downturn known as the recession. Due to this inconvenience, myself and many other Americans are visiting pawn shops on a regular basis. With that being said, we've created an application that is going to revolutionize the pawn industry, bridging the gap between customer and pawnbroker. Now, the basic steps when I go into a pawn shop, I take my item, they assess the item, I get a pawn ticket. If I lose that ticket, I no longer know my due date, I no longer know how much I owe, and I'm at risk of losing my item. What our app is going to solve is 3 key problems, along with removing the negative stigma that pawn shops have gained over the years. We're going to create a digital pawn ticket, which will notify their customer every 30 days when the loan matures, allowing them to have a reduced risk of losing the item. We also will provide an estimated pawn value before the customer ever steps in the store. So they'll be able to actually search from their phone, type in laptop or computer, and see what the estimated value pawn shops are offering currently. Also, pawn shops will be able to feature new items, allowing customers to stay up to date with inventory, and it also solves for the potential of decreased revenue caused by the digital pawn ticket, which was a concern mentioned by one of the pawnbrokers we spoke to. Now, this weekend, we built an app that demonstrates the features we've been discussing, and we're now going to demonstrate that on the phone. So when the customer first opens the app, they're going to see the featured items and the new items. They will be able to scroll through the new items and see what the pawn shops have listed for that day. For the person who is actually using it for pawns, they will click on My Pawns, and they'll be able to see their pawns and look through their list, and then click into one and actually see the pawn ticket. And this is where it's going to populate the information, like the preparation fees. All of this is on an actual pawn ticket, so this is not information that the pawn shops don't want them to know, or that's something behind the scenes. And when we go back out, we can go to assessments. See one more, there we go. And that's where you'll be able to type in your search, and it'll actually fuel with the database, which typically is 20 to 25% of the retail value is what you're gonna get for a pawn loan. And now on each pawn, you'll be able to do a rating system, and actually rate how your transaction went. Do you feel like you got enough money? Do you feel like you were treated fairly? So that way other people can go to the similar pawn shops and get just a great experience. Now we also have a contact us page, which in the beginning phase, it's gonna be just for singular pawn shops where you'll be able to locate them. But in the long run, we want this to become a network where people can actually search all pawn shops in their area. All right, now with the, if you click on settings, this is where they can be able to update their account information and their notifications. Not everyone obviously has smartphones, so they'll be able to get SMS and email alerts as well. And that will be done in a web version of the application. All right. Now, our business model consists of 3 phases. Phase 1 includes licensing the application, and then through beta testing and marketing the end user, we are going to apply the pressure needed to pawn shops to get them on board. Phase 2 will consist of creating a network with pocket ponds, which with various pawn shops through national pawnbrokers associations and going to their annual events. And the last phase is where we take it to the next level. We're going to basically establish strategic partnerships with Pawn Masters, which is the industry standard point of sale software for pawn shops globally. Now, over the weekend, we hit the streets and we spoke to pawn shop owner, manager, and surveyed pawn shop customers. As you can see on that grass.
I think that app's a great idea.
We'll skip it.
As you can see at the top, the benefit to track your pawns on your mobile device.
We gotta go, Marcus. We got some.
Everything a lot easier and faster. They wouldn't have to spend their gas, time, and money coming, driving all the way into town to come pick up their loans or rewrite their loans. You know, they can check stuff online, check prices out, compare prices, save them time and money. Makes us money.
All right, time's up actually. Sorry guys. Let's give it a round of applause.
Oh, and my name is Marcus, this is Connor, this is Gabe, and our mentor was Emerson, who helped us with the development.
Okay, judges, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, can we just turn off the screen?
Yeah, here, just done.
So great job. It's really cool. I've learned some stuff that I had no idea about pawn shops, so that's cool. On the first slide you said, I'm a victim of the economic downturn, and that was your way of explaining why pawn shop spending is on the rise. You might want to think about trying to quantify that a little bit more, like actually saying, you know, it's going to be hard because these are this isn't like they have financial statements. So you'd have to go to pawn shops and say, how have you been doing since 2008? Or since, you know, through the recession.
Yeah.
Because you got to prove that there's actually a market there. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for now.
I asked for like the market, like knowing that everyone that goes to a pawn shop, I feel will utilize the application. So since they're in business and doing business, that's our market. That's what we know the market exists.
My biggest question is, why would a pawn owner do this? Why would he want everyone to see and not have the opportunity to negotiate with someone when they come into the pawn shop?
Oh, that part still happens. Just the assessment is so the customer is more knowledgeable when they go in with their item. So they're not asking for $1,000 for, you know, their cell phone that's only worth like $200. So
why would the pawn shop owner want him to have more information?
Well, the pawn shop owner wants the user to use this application because they do want to collect the interest that they receive when you take an item into them. So by you not following up on that and losing your ticket or something and not following through with that loan, it's more of a hassle for them to have to take that item and put it in front of the storefront than if they were to just collect that interest like they're expected to.
I think the app sounds really cool. I actually never used pawn shops, but I might actually consider using it if I had that kind of information available. But I'm wondering how exactly, I might have missed, how you're going to make money doing this?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How are you going to monetize it?
Oh, basically how we monetize it is through licensing the app and offering as a subscription service to pawn shops. And then also when you rewrite the loan through the app, we were gonna collect $2. We're sharing the processing fee with the pawn shop. And then finally, in the third stage, we're gonna do e-commerce where they can actually sell items through the app.
When we talked to the owners of the pawn shop, they made it clear that they would pay $60 to $100 for the service monthly. So that was part of the video, but we got cut off. They were about to say that, but two owners told us specifically, yesterday that they would pay for this service.
Can you just explain what you do for them exactly, and someone who knows nothing about pawn shops? Because I'm having a hard time understanding it.
I'm gonna explain what now?
What it is you guys are doing for the pawn shop owner.
Basically, so instead of having to print out tickets, they would just go up to the line.
When you get a ticket?
When you pawn the item. Like when you take your cell phone, you go in, they ask you how much you want. You want $100, and they put that information into the computer. It prints out a ticket that has all your information on it. You take the ticket, come back with the ticket to pick up your item. So if you lose the ticket, then you don't know when the due date is, so you have to come in or call. So this basically gets rid of the excess calls and excess people coming into the pawn shop, so they can better assist the people that are in the store wanting to buy items or getting new ponds.
So I thought you guys did a great job. I'm curious though, Friday when you walked in here, what did you start with? What did you have when you walked in?
I had a piece of paper with my pitch on it. Thank you very much.
Question, you went into a couple pawn shops. What type of hardware did the pawn shops have on premise?
They had subwoofers, amps,
They're all using Macintosh. We actually did have some pictures at the end of the computer. They were all hooked up with iMacs, all the pawn shops. They were. We're being serious. They were all hooked up with iMacs.
No, I appreciate it. That's where I was going. Thank you.
Sorry.
Not knowing anything about pawn shops, is there any legal liability? You are now entering into facilitating transactions. Now, how about if they're stolen goods?
Which they have to deal with now. We're not actually facilitating any pawn. The app is just managing their pawn. So they still have to go to the pawn shop and show serial numbers and all, so that's the pawn shop's responsibility. We're not involved in that.
It's like a receipt tracking.
All right. Is it okay with you guys? Time's up. Yeah. All right. Good job, guys. All right. Let's go. Time starts now.
Okay, we are Genexus. Since the advent of the Human Genome Project, human genetic testing has become more prevalent and will become more prevalent as time goes on. This data is complex and is causing a lot of confusion among patients and healthcare professionals. There are approximately 6 million pregnancies in the U.S. every day. The American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology recommends that genetic testing be offered to every pregnant woman. The problem with the genetic testing as it now stands, this does not give you a yes or a no answer, but it gives you a statistical stratification of your risk. Currently, there are no good analytical calculating tools or teaching tools available for teaching or explaining these complex tests to patients. Compounding this, the healthcare providers themselves may not be fully versed in these statistics. So for the solution, I present Genexus. This is Marina, she's our CEO.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. So, hello everyone, my name is Marina. I'm a certified and licensed genetic counselor, and I actually trained to be a genetic counselor pretty recently, and I want to introduce you to the most state-of-the-art tool that genetic counselors use right now, the binder. And so this helps people calculate risks of genetic conditions and explain information to patients. Come on, we can do better than this, right? Yes. Yeah. And you know what? We have. Now I'm presenting to you a great product. GREAT stands for the Genetic Risk Education and Assessment Tool, presented to you by Genexus. And this is an app for an iPad, and you can see it at genexus.com. And let me walk you through a little story. We have a patient whose name is Marge, and Marge is a 38-year-old woman who has an unexpected pregnancy, and she is worried about having a baby with Down syndrome because of her age. So her doctor her doctor offers an amniocentesis to her as well as other options. So the amniocentesis is a scary procedure for Marge because it's invasive, it's painful, it's expensive, and also there's a small chance that she could actually lose the pregnancy. And so Marge, at this clinic that uses the GREAT product, is able to learn more about her risk of having a baby with Down syndrome based on her age, based on her ultrasound results, based on screening results she's done, and she can make an informed decision about whether to go ahead with amniocentesis or not. And actually, she walks away relieved from the clinic because she learns her chance is actually that of a 28-year-old woman instead of a 38-year-old woman, And so she makes an informed decision not to proceed with an amniocentesis. A different patient might actually make a different decision, but this tool shows graphics and lots of education tools that help them learn and understand. And right now we're just focusing on the prenatal healthcare provider, but future state, this could be pretty much any health clinic that could use it, because genetic conditions can be in any clinic. That could be neurological conditions, cancer conditions, and so we have a lot of capacity to grow. And now I give the microphone to our CTO.
So from a market perspective, what we're looking at, as she just mentioned, there's a lot of potential applications for genetics. But in our case, what we're looking at is a 4% of the potential market slice. From that 4% market slice, we're looking at about 82,000 practitioners that we could get 10% market penetration. We believe that based off our feedback that most of these people would engage with this tool, so 10% is pretty limited in terms of that engagement. But if we can get $100 monthly on a subscription basis, that models out to $8.25 million a year. Next. We went out, from part of our research, we went out and did a survey of general practitioners in this space, had great response, people willing to pay for this product personally, out of their own pocket, just to facilitate their daily work. We also went to experts, senior people in this space, and got this kind of validation you see before you. From an execution perspective, yes, we did all these things. The thing that's most impressive is that we've got directors, senior level people to come in ad hoc on a weekend like this and bring the caliber of team of true domain experts together to build out this tool was truly the amazing piece. We have real assertions about what we can go and do and build, and that it is appropriate for the space. And that is it.
All right, so we'll start 5 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Anyone want to start? All right, good choice.
I'm concerned about the model, if I'm understanding it right, that you're gonna sell a subscription to practitioners and that they can use it in their practice. Am I understanding it right?
That is correct.
So then they'll basically do the scan, send the woman home with your website? And
No,
say,
they
"Go
can
figure it out? Or
They
what?
use the website in clinic as a teaching tool on either an iPad or one of the clinic computers.
So the patient's still receiving genetic counseling?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't worry.
This is a substitute for genetic counseling.
No, I'm the last person who wants to substitute genetic counselors. I know, I am one.
What this is a tool for the person who's doing the counseling to get more accurate data, real accurate data, not estimates, which are frequently currently used, because the Bayesian calculations that are needed to give accurate data are difficult to do by hand, and you really need a computer to do those. But it also has a back end, once you have the data, that explains what the data means, and in graphical ways, and it also gives teaching about what the disease process is.
So I only know how to do this by hand with Bayesian calculations. So what's your competition? There aren't other computer software programs out there that do this?
Binders.
So
there's no software.
there is no teaching tool like this anywhere. The only thing I could find was one little calculator, but it wasn't a teaching tool, and I've never seen anyone use it in clinic, and I've been to 3 different clinics. I have a lot of friends in different clinics.
Yeah. The ACOG website does have some of these, but it's fairly clunky, difficult to use. Some of them take you to other sites, which are not even operational. And there's nobody that has collected all this into one suite where you can get all the information at once.
And also in the cancer realm, so we were focusing on prenatal. In the cancer realm, there are a lot of software programs that help calculate, but there isn't anything that incorporates a teaching tool into the calculation. And I really wish we could show you our app. Apparently there's been a malfunction, but one big strength of this is the app shows the risks in clear, easy to understand ways. So instead of just telling someone your risk to have a baby with some kind of condition is 1 in 329, and you don't know what that really means. You can't imagine a number like that. Most people can't. Our brains aren't made that way. It shows you graphics of 329 people and then one person among those people, and how that risk changes if, let's say, you do some additional screening or testing, now your risk is smaller, better, and so that now it shows there's a bigger crowd around the one person who's affected or who has the baby with a condition.
I, as a practicing nurse, would use this tool particularly for patient education, because built into it are those educational tools. So we may tell a family that they have a higher risk of having a child with Turner syndrome. Well, there's like, what's Turner syndrome? We can pull up, these are common characteristics. This is what you might be looking at. So this is your chance of having a baby with this syndrome. This is what the child might look like. This is what their cognitive ability range may be. Those kinds of things that can help people make more informed health decisions based on risk, based on teaching tools. So it's both. It's a calculator and the teaching tools.
Are you looking to deploy an app, or you have a smart device friendly website?
It would be a tablet-based app that the practitioner could take with them. It would be a software as a service pushed back to the cloud, which gives us an opportunity to actually do a broader data correlation. If we actually get some critical mass in terms of our data, we can actually start publishing consolidated statistics that I think would be really useful in a lot of the genetic research, kind of putting back into the system.
Is there a reason you want to go with an app versus an app-friendly website?
The portability of actually being in that environment, of them being able to go and sit and turn it around and share it with that customer. I think that the tablet form factor is kind of a more intimate setting when you're dealing with these kind of issues.
And we'll see where we take it. If there's a need, it sounds like if not a lot of clinicians have access to iPads right now, we can also make it available as a website where they can use their clinic computer, because as medical records have become electronic, a lot of clinics now are having computers in every room. And so you can just turn that computer around and show it to your patient.
Have you considered making a website or the app available to the patients as well, so that they can go back and, after they've been educated by the provider, see and review it on their own and talk to their spouse?
Absolutely, that could be a future step. So once we've met kind of HIPAA requirements and everything is security is not has been addressed, then it would be absolutely amazing to have the patient be able to take all those images home and be able to review them, because a lot of times, at least in my experience, you explain a lot of information, but patients might be overwhelmed and may only remember less than a quarter of what you've said. And so by being able to review that again later, maybe with their spouse who couldn't show up or the rest of their family, it would absolutely be very helpful as a next step.
Just real quick, outside of the business and the idea, which I think is great, you guys did a great job, can you flip back to the market sizing slide?
Yeah, we just, for this presentation, we just...
No, I'm not gonna, all I'm gonna say is that's actually super helpful. Like when you're doing presentations to potential investors and stuff like that, having something that clearly lays out and defines the market, maybe it's right, maybe it's not, it's a 5-minute presentation, I have no idea. But just having that up there makes me think that you guys thought about it. And it's not really about, what you're gonna charge for the product or how much money you think you're gonna make in 10 years, but actually knowing what the market opportunity is the important part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good job, guys. Let's give a round of applause.
All right, so we are the Bust a Booty Company. We have developed an app, a social dancing app. Who in the room here would like to prove that you're the best dancer in the room? I also see that there are several programmers with very lovely shapes, such as myself. You probably are a wallflower, not the most social dancer. Some of us also like to be able to lose a couple pounds off of ourselves. So with that, we've actually developed an application for dancing. It's the bootiest social dancing app in the whole wide world. It's a motion sensing social dance app. It actually uses the accelerometer in your phone to tell you if you're not moving enough or if you're moving too much. Version 2 of the app you'll be able to challenge your friends and rack up a score and challenge your friends. And if you add your vital statistics, male, female, weight, height, you'll actually be able to calculate how many calories you burned doing your little dancing. So that's
something super cool. So this is what it looks like. We actually have version 1.0 working on our phone, and Scott can demonstrate it for us.
Explain a little bit more about how it works. So my name's Scott Traver, and this is Bust a Booty. And so it's really, really simple interface. If you go to the settings, you can choose your different settings. We're going to have some different game modes, some endurance modes, some scoring modes where you can evaluate your competition and share. And that'll come in version 2, but right now you just hit dance and you put it in your back pocket. I'm still working on backgrounding it, but you got this guy and he's dancing there, and it's green if you're dancing. We're going to integrate it with sound so it'll know what the beat is and tell you if you're dancing off beat. I'm dancing a little too slow right now, and so it's yellow, and it's warning it's actually vibrating, and we're going to add some sound alarms, and it'll all be customizable. And so I'm just going to keep on dancing right here, and he'll stay green. Dance.
Nice job, Scott. So the question might be, aren't there already dancing apps in the App Store? The apps that are in the App Store are like Dance Dance Revolution, where you just tap the screen bunch to the rhythm. None of them actually use a sensor. There isn't a single one that we found that uses the sensors in your phone to actually get you going. So these guys are a no-go. They don't have what we have. What we have is unique. Now, onto the business side, 20% of paid apps are downloaded only 10% of, or over 100 times. 20% of free apps are downloaded more than 10,000 times. So that leads us into our freemium model. We're going to distribute the app for free, hope to get mass distribution and popularity. How we plan on monetizing that is through in-app purchases. So yesterday, people were asking me to do the Gangnam style dance. I have no idea how to do it, but I would pay 99 cents or $2 for something in the app to show me how to do that. Also, other people would be willing to do local advertising with the app. So what we've done so far is we got our app, we got our website up, we have a lot of Facebook friends, a lot of Twitter activity going on. We have a lot of word of mouth going out. We've had people out in the streets. We have a survey, and in that survey, 80% of people said that they would pay 99 cents or more. So we're not necessarily going to charge 99 cents, but that does show that people would value an app like this. It says 75% say they have a friend who could use help. So that means that social, like interpersonal relationships is going to help spread that application. Now, the market potential, iPhone gamers do a lot of dancing, or a lot of gaming, and there's a big market available for that. So there's just one more thing, and that is that the reason this app's going to be successful is because it's fun.
Walk on Gangnam Style.
Thank you.
All right, great job.
So, who's got the question?
That was awesome. How much did you guys do this weekend? Because that's a lot of work.
We did a lot. We had a great team. As you can tell, we're probably the youngest team here, but we have a lot of energy.
What did you walk in on Friday with?
Me dancing for 30 seconds.
When did you find time to make the t-shirt?
Second day.
That's awesome.
We were the first to have a website. We were the first to have a logo done. We were the first to have our social media churning out. We were the first to have surveys out. We stayed productive, and the t-shirts, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had dance parties.
Oh, yeah. We even printed out lovely marketing materials.
I think it's super cool. I think it's awesome. It's tapping into the whole quantified self thing, which is wonderful. The one thing I would think about is the free to play and pay for features, because I don't know, and maybe you can through technology, like tell someone if they're doing the right dance moves just with their iPhone. I know you can do it with like a Kinect, you can do it, but I don't know if you can do it with an iPhone. So I think the monetization part of it needs to be thought out a little bit. But at this point, who cares? Like, if everyone's buying the app, that's what people want to see. So.
Right. That's basically what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Is just get it out there, and it's going to be fun, and people are going to want it.
I think it sounds like a pretty fun app for anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be for somebody who wants to lose weight. So that would be my one comment about it. Is it really seems to be targeted towards people who are overweight or need to shake it off. But we all like to shake it.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job. I think that, you know, it's very fun, and I think that we need to remember that there's a lot of innovation behind fun sometimes, and I thought that this was great.
Well, as a member of your target audience, I think you guys did awesome. I did have a question on what you got done this weekend as far as working with the iPhone. What's the battery usage when you're trying to do all that stuff all at once?
I haven't finished that yet. I'm probably going to work on that this week and next, and we're going to try and get in the App Store by late next week. I haven't worked on app usage or battery usage yet, or backgrounding it correctly yet. Mostly it was just the functionality and integrating the accelerometer, and that's all set up, and all 3 of our game modes are all stubbed out. So it should be smooth sailing until we release it.
Great, nice, thank you.
Well, take your time with it. I mean, it doesn't need to be in the App Store next week.
Absolutely.
You know?
Right. Any other questions?
Let's give a round of applause. All right, I'm ready now. So I'm going to try to follow up the dancing app with a reading app. So tough crowd. So my name is Ryan Arnold, and this is Claire, Rob, Rebecca, Adam, and Matthew. I was calling Brandon. And we are Book Genie, and we're here to help you find books faster. So I want you to meet Claire. Claire is a casual reader. She reads books once in a while, but she always doesn't have the time to read books. Versus Matthew, who we call a bibliomaniac, that's a real term. So a bibliomaniac is a person who might have a library collection, he might be in a book group, and it really loves reading. So in a wider spectrum, we have a lot of different readers out there. Sorry, Rob. But Claire, the casual reader, is the main market. And unfortunately, sorry, I go back. And so Claire's the main reader. Casual readers make up the main percentage of the marketplace, and unfortunately, they're not catered to when it comes to applications. There's applications out there like Goodreads right now, but they cater mostly to the bibliomaniacs who want to socialize while they're reading and write reviews and kind of maintain their virtual bookstore. So Claire, the casual reader, just finally finished her book after 2 months of reading. And she's pretty excited, but she doesn't know what to pick next. She doesn't have a virtual bookshelf. She doesn't really plan ahead. So what's next? She really wants an application that kind of gives her a hint, but doesn't really limit her too much. So, luckily she has Book Genie. And Book Genie is an application that we've developed with a website. And what it does, it allows you to pick a genre really quickly, maybe popularity of as one of the options, and then it searches it, just like that. And what it produces is a description of the book and just the title page. And so what you can do is search again really quickly, or you can go to the Amazon store and purchase the book directly from your iPhone. So this is what I would direct you to right away. Next. And Claire's a pretty happy reader. So why is this different than an Amazon page? Well, Amazon really uses your recommendations from your past book experience, which gets you into a rut. So maybe you don't want to read the same thing as you read last time. And so what we're doing is adding a little serendipity to your reading schedule. So Claire's pretty excited, and she tells our bibliomaniac about the app. Next. And how we make money is actually, because we're pushing through Amazon's affiliate program, we're making 4% commission on every book that's bought through our application. So we talked to a lot of people this week. We've actually had the app live since yesterday afternoon, or
this morning, at about 3:30 in the morning. And so with that, we kind of aggregated live feedback of people using the app and actually purchasing books as of today. So we're 60 cents cash flow positive as of today. So we found out that people do use recommendation search engines, and they're open to recommendations from programs. So they're looking for things that we're trying to provide with the service. And beyond that, go to the next one. What we're looking at is developing an app that goes onto the new Kindle Fire, which will plug into the Kindle store and allow people to actually purchase ebooks directly or use their iPads or other devices that allow for applications. So we're trying to merge into that growth market. Right now we have a website as a minimum viable product, and we're working on a handheld app for the iPhone. And so we are Book Genie. We're helping you find books fast. Thank you guys.
All right, great job. So it looks like we have the mic over here, so we'll hand it over to our judges for feedback and questions.
All right, I like the little presentation there. I had a question on your 60 cents cash flow positive, however you termed it. Are you just looking at Amazon right now?
Currently, that's the API we've been working with. Okay. So yeah, that was enough of a weekend challenge, right guys? So yes.
Was that a challenge? Did you look at any others, or that's what you?
We haven't looked at any others yet.
We've A-Books has an API that we can reference. However, to get access to that API, you have to contact them, and then they have to contact you back to give you access. So we will be contacting them today and getting that.
And it's all, right now it's all web-based.
Right now it's all web-based. This is our live website right here.
So here you can scroll. So comics and graphic novels, within 2 years, we'll do top 10. And hopefully the internet won't be terribly slow.
And then scroll down.
All right. Oops. And so down here we have this. We have all the information you might need from Amazon and similar titles. And if you simply click on the title, then you can go to purchase the book.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. I mean, you must have, I mean, what search engine are you using?
We're using Amazon. Our entire
going to
database backend is Amazon.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's how the entire API is set up.
Okay, very impressive.
How are the recommendations generated? Is it random?
Through the API, there is a similarity lookup. And through the similarity lookup, Amazon just randomly collects similar items to the original item.
What about you guys, though? Like, how is that book summoned?
The original book, we go and we select a number of books, and then we just randomly select one out of those books. And then from that book, we put in for the similarity lookup, which then gives us the similar items.
We look at the top 100 books, and you go on in there, and you can choose whether you want to see. You can choose whether you want to see books from the top 10, books from beyond that, or all the books in the top 100. They'll pick a book for you. Go look at it. It's meant so you can go on in there and get a quick look at a bunch of books that you may not come across normally.
So how much are you got, what I'm trying to figure out is Amazon, it's really hard what they do with the recommendations, and it's, you know, I mean, there's a lot of levels there, so I'm just trying to figure out what it is that, is there anything in between what Amazon's doing and then picking some random book that's in the top 100?
We are just trying to go and give you exposure to more books as fast as possible.
Got it.
So the idea there is actually if someone's going to the bookstore, okay, or the library, a lot of times what they do is they go and look at a genre. I personally like classic literature. I go into the classic literature section and I look and I say, oh, Charles Dickens. I don't own this book. I'm going to select that. So since that's how people go and search for books and look for books, we have created an easy interface for doing that online.
But you're only giving one book, though. At the bookstore,
Yes.
they're looking at 100 books.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool that I mean, and this is kind of just a business thing, you've inserted yourself into a transaction, and you're gonna make money off of that. The question is, how much? Is it gonna be, is it gonna be fun? And I don't know, it could be.
Right. And the idea kind of originated from, if you've ever used the Urban Spoon app, where you have 3 selections and then you spin the wheel and you get kind of a little bit of serendipity in not knowing what's going to come up. And so we thought that'd be fun for the reader to kind of get a surprise instead of going to Amazon where they already know what you read and kind of picking it for you. So that's where the original idea came from.
That makes a lot of sense. I think you should make an app that's as cool as Urban Spoons to do that.
Work on it.
All right, with that, our time's up unless there's any other questions from the judges.
I have one.
Okay.
Does it keep track of what you've already read? So if like all you really want to read are Twilight-like books, does it tell you, you know what, you've pretty much read them all?
It does not keep track of the books you've read yet.
Yes.
But that's an idea that.
Yes.
It's an idea that we've had. So you can track the books that you have, track the books that you might be interested in.
Like you could go back or something.
Yes.
Right.
Great.
As it is now, you can click on summon a book and it'll go and give you a different book each time.
Great. All right, let's give him a hand. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric Agnew. I'm representing Team Gigmo, and I believe that my slide didn't start in the correct place, is what I believe. There we go. I believe that music makes everything better. Anybody else agree? Thanks, I'm out. No. I'll give you an example. Holiday parties. I go to a corporate holiday party every year. I mingle with the 10% of the company that I'm familiar with. I stumble for a while to try to remember the spouses that I've met previously. I bump elbows with people trying to get the shrimp cocktail before it's gone. And then I sit awkwardly at the table and play Angry Birds on my phone because I'm sitting with 12 people I don't know until the music starts. You hear those first couple chords of Sweet Home Alabama or Brown Eyed Girl come from the cover band, and instantly you kind of perk up and you get your Bust a Booty app out and you make your way to the dance floor, and then your night does a 180. You're having a good time and you spend the next 2 hours dancing and having fun. The problem is that to make this transaction take place, sometimes a difficult situation. For an event planner, they don't really have a great source to go to find all of the local acts, view their content, and then book them online. And if you're a musician, the last thing you want to do is administrative work and follow up on collections for payment. You'd rather just be creative and make music. So we have a solution. We call it Gigmo. The idea of Gigmo is to fuse music and opportunity, to match up musicians with event planners in their area, wherever that area may be. This is a teaser slide. I'm going to take you into the live application in just a moment, but I wanted to show you this was created this weekend. We did not have this at all. Our amazing team pulled together a creative design and a user's interface that's mobile friendly, and we'll get back to that in a minute. But we need to test the market. So we went ahead and we did some surveys and some market validation, and what we found was there's actually an overwhelming response that supported our thoughts that this is a problem. Some of the numbers we'll just go through real fast. 92% of the music artists we asked said that they would go online and create a profile. 85% of those artists says that it's difficult to find gigs. 71% said it was moderately or very difficult to get paid. That's not good. For event planners, 62% use family referrals. And I'm going to steal an analogy. Family referral is great unless, that family member only knows one person. It'd be like going to a store that only had one shirt. And yeah, you're going to walk out there and you won't be naked, but you might be wearing polka dots and, maybe that's not the thing this season. So it expands the database in your area of people you're going to reach. So market analysis. A lot of the services geared towards musicians are to get them nationally known to labels, and that's really not the market we're going to focus on. What we found is that there's tens of thousands of local bands sort of left to fend to themselves with inadequate resources, and this leaves a target-rich environment. Revenue, 10%. is what a service fee we would charge. And that comes back from the market data as well. Minimum of $10 every time a gig is booked. We don't charge any subscriptions. We only get paid if a gig is booked. Lots of add-on revenue opportunities. But let's see how it works. Oops, just Alt-Tab over.
I'm just gonna open it up.
Okay. There we go. So this is our site. This is actually our development environment. All of this, we started from scratch this weekend. Everything you see is brand new. We have probably about another few days to get it to be market viable. We didn't put it out because, honestly, we can't book a transaction until the UI is correct, until it's secure and we have the financial transactions in piece. A couple more days of coding, and this is what we're going to have. We're going to show you a profile. We'll show you, when we go down, we'll show the Ryan Larson Band. They're consistently named either the #1 or #2 band in Spokane. I know Ryan, and so had him put together a profile. So you kind of see what it looks like, cover photos, go down, bio, and at this site, you could be booked, running out of time. But to give you an idea, he gets to promote himself, event planners find him, they book him, we earn a fee for our service. Any questions?
Will you implement something into that system where I can hear the music?
Yes, I'm sorry. If we go up, Ryan didn't upload any music. I used his profile, but this section on the top, I think I've got one.
I'm gonna go to yours just so you
Here's the player that we've styled up. And so actually, if you're ever familiar with iHeartRadio and you listen to music online and you stream it, this will have the same functionality. So if we hit play, it'll continuously play as you go from screen to screen until you select another song from another artist. It's a very nice feature instead of just clicking and then as you try to navigate around, that link breaks.
So what all's included in their profile? Can you also, if you have them come out and play your gig, can you post reviews?
Absolutely. It's very much the theme of eBay or Amazon or Rotten Tomatoes, where you have a review and a rank, and that weights their search results. And higher ranked artists displayed first in search. I personally buy a lot of books online and things like that. I always read the reviews from other people, if it's music or whatever. And it's sort of the friends and family type mentality as well. You know, they're used to getting referrals from people they know. But even if you crowdsource and you say, well, 8 out of 10 people thought this band was good. I like their music that I can see, their videos that are streaming. I'm going to give them a shot. Did you have a question?
I was also going to ask about reviews, but I assume that you'll be able to post videos as well?
Yes. The basic media elements would be photos, videos, and music. And so YouTube, we have a YouTube light box that you can play. It'll display over the screen.
Cool.
Yeah, very good.
2 questions. First, with the review thing, if you want to make it a service where a local artist can kind of show himself, then giving a third party the opportunity to put whatever that they want on their page, it takes the control out of the page for them. So.
Sure. Yeah, there may be ability to dispute. I mean, I think you might have something similar with PayPal and Amazon and some of those other buying services. But yeah, certainly they could have a.
But that's shipping good. This is like, it's a matter of someone's opinion. Either you like the music or you don't. So it just, all I'm saying is, if it's the artist page,
yeah,
then it should be the artist page. If it's an open forum to review them, that's something kind of different.
Yeah.
And then, is anyone else doing something like this? I know, like Craigslist has Craigslist gigs, but
yes.
Like, what's the competitive landscape?
Competitively, there's several sites that are on the larger scale, like Reverb Nation, but they're really trying to get artists into big venues. They're trying to fill, the large knitting factories and some of those. There are a couple on the smaller scale, and frankly, I'm not very impressed with them. And we have a couple differentiators. First one is they charge a huge subscription fee, $100 a quarter, just for the privilege of putting a profile on their page with no guarantee of any funds. And so we've kind of taken the idea and tweaked it with what we think is, we want to make it as easy to get as many musicians in there as possible. And if they have to pay to subscribe, that's not. We want to only, we count success in matching the artist and the event planner, and we'll only take a fee if that happens. So that's probably the biggest differentiator from really the one site that's out there. And it's almost like Craigslist for music. They're very broad too, jugglers and clowns, and we're focused. We do music.
All right, that's it. Give them a round of applause.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and music lovers of all ages. My name is Deacon Cross, and I'm co-founder of Archangel Instruments and CEO. And behind me is my other co-founder and CTO, Eric Menzie. We are a company who has developed an innovative new musical technology that's called SBR Vibra Spring. You get the spring there. And this technology creates new musical sounds. It can be installed into guitars, bass guitars, violins, cellos, and it's even its own musical instrument. And in fact, this last product specifically is our MVP product. It's the product that we're concentrating on bringing to market. A key aspect of that process is our web presence. So here is my CTO to elaborate that, Eric Menzies.
Hi, so this weekend we came in, he developed the product already, and we have now launched a website. It's archangelinstruments.com. Online we have a lot of videos showing what we can do with this. We have pictures, and you can look at our catalog, and you can click order now, and we'll know that you're interested. But right now we're connecting up the order now with a PayPal account, so we can start collecting money and start shipping these to people. Here's our ordering page for the soundstick we're showing here. And lots of videos, and we're going to show you a video we made this weekend. Sound? Anyone? Is it on?
Oh, you've got it muted.
No, I don't.
It's the video at the bottom right.
Yeah, it's muted
right here. Okay, okay.
Run it back.
Okay.
And it's,
There we
what
go.
do you say about the sound stick? I would freaking use it because I like making hellacious noise, and it's awesome. Where would it fit into your rig? On my guitar, on the floor, next to my amp, in my drums, anywhere actually. It's very interesting.
Those hundreds of sound effects. And this is Guitar Center.
As simple hit sound effects and EDM, definitely. I think it's opened up a lot of new possibilities. Oh yeah. Drumming, definitely, yeah.
I would totally use that in a song.
I can see it used in like Foley movies, special effects and things like that. Yes, this is very cool, definitely.
Week, so if you guys are interested and you want to be part of something like totally new, archangelinstruments.com.
Did you like it? I took out one of these. It's pretty cool.
All right, and we've done some market analysis to take a look at the musical sales every year. Here, Yamaha did the research for us, and they show us that $12.95 billion in sales for musical instruments. By segment, we'll be looking at the orange there is the guitars and drums, which is where we'd fit into this. And here's a breakdown of just the guitars and drums are over $3 billion a year in sales. And we also noticed that there's this big trend in emerging markets. Yamaha is stating that the emerging market is going to account for 48% of new new musical instruments, and this would be offered at a much cheaper price than a standard guitar. And one cymbal is one sound and sells for about $120. We'd sell ours for much cheaper, about $99 at the retail store.
And many, many more sounds, including cymbal sounds.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So our company is a very simple manufacturer to wholesale model with additional retail web-based sales. This product costs approximately $15 per unit to manufacture parts and labor. We intend to wholesale the product at approximately $40 to $50.
All right, time's up.
And retail at $99.
Give it a round of applause. Okay, which one of the judges has the mic?
Wow. So what? How did? What's the background? How did what like? This is totally different than everything else. So what put this on our table today?
Well, I'm the inventor. I have a BA in media production. I'm working on a master's degree here, and I worked at XM Radio for a couple of years as a broadcast engineer. So I'm a tinkerer and an engineer. And actually, I had been doing this technology as an investigation for a while with stringed instruments, with guitars, and we're investigating cellos and violins and things like that. But I never thought of it as its own instrument before until about 2 weeks ago. And I took about a week to put it into a schematic because I had to figure out what a housing would be and what a...
what is it?
It is, it's essentially a canister. It's PVC pipe, which you might be transferring to some wood for a better resonance. But it's the simplest thing. I mean, Steve Jobs is a big fan. I'm a big fan of his, and he talks about simple is powerful, simple is strong. This is very simple, and it's very, very resilient. It's a spring mounted in tension in front of a guitar pickup. So whenever you hit the body of the instrument, the spring itself will vibrate. The vibrate disrupts the pickup pattern, and it sends a signal that transduces. That signal is an electrical signal. You can assign thousands of sound effects to it. I got car horns and helicopters.
So that's what, instead of doing like the video for 4 minutes, you should have done that first. Because we want to know what it is. Right now, I have no idea what that is right there. But I see someone banging on it and make sounds, that's great. But like, you need to take a couple of seconds and explain what it is.
Did I
just now you did great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys do a patent investigation? Did you file a patent?
Yeah, I did patent research with Google Patents, with Lukens Annis, and did some person-to-person research with some individuals who have some long-term standing in the music industry through my connections to XM Radio and stuff like that. So it's pretty quality. It also affects music theory. There's some things that it does with regards to music theory, which is the foundation of our patenting, that's never been done in music theory before. So we're going to kind of make our argumentative stance that it affects the science of music itself.
How do you assign and change the sounds?
It works just like, the best thing, one of our catchphrases is anything that you can do to a string, you can do to a spring. So it works just like guitar string technology. So you pluck a guitar string in front of a pickup, and then it picks up that vibration. It's a physical vibration just like a guitar string. So all the sound effects that you can do to guitar strings are also possible because they all happen on the back end of a physical vibration.
So it comes out to a pedal that will modify it any way you want. You can get a basic sound out of this, but just like a guitar, you put it through a distortion pedal. You know, most artists don't play just the guitar itself. They play through their own pedals. This would go into the same pedals, which are modified the same way.
Do you have a stick? Can you bang it?
Yeah.
Now.
You need an amp to plug it in. Yeah.
Okay. I'm really fast. How many seconds do you need?
We can set it up back there.
It's about 20 yards away.
That's cool.
Yeah, okay.
So I find it very interesting, and it is very different than anything else we've seen today. I think for your presentation, it would have been really helpful to have applied it to actual music. It may be something that some of us in the room would know, something popular. Because you had the one guy on there saying, I love to make noise, and you don't want to sell noise, you're trying to sell music. So apply it to a musical piece and show us how it enhances and changes that musical piece.
That's definitely advice we will take forward in the future. Thank you.
All right, let's give a round of applause. Good job. Really time, you guys.
Are we ready? Okay. Hi, my name is Brooke Martin, and I'm an 8th grade student at Odyssey here in Spokane. This year for my independent project, I chose to do it on entrepreneurship, and with the help of my 8th grade class, we came up with an idea originally called I See You Poo, but this weekend we really took that and it became I See You Pooch, and I'm really excited about what it's become, and you know, it's amazing, and I just want to thank you guys all for an amazing experience at Startup this weekend, and I'm really excited to take it back to my class. So I'm with I See You Pooch, and I See You Pooch is an interactive care unit that allows dog owners to visually interact with their dogs and reward their dogs while they're gone or away or at work. So I'm going to show you guys a video, and hopefully this will explain it a little bit more.
20,000 followers. Oh my gosh, it's almost 7 o'clock. I haven't talked to my dog all day. Hi, Kayla. How are you, sweetie? Sit. Here's a treat. Good girl. Here's another treat. Aw, I missed you too. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
Okay, so we recognize the problem that a lot of owners don't really know what their dogs are doing when they're away from home. And you know, a lot of dogs, they get lonely, they misbehave, or they get bored. So we think that being able to connect with your dog while you're out and away would help the dog to relax, and it would help you to know that, you know, your dog is okay. So our solution to this problem is I See You Pooch, and I See You Pooch allows owners to check on their dogs, interact with their dogs, and even give their dogs treats. So how it works, it's a wireless internet-based interactive app and website, and it allows you to interact with your dog through your smartphone, your tablet, and your computer. You can even record a video message and schedule a treat delivery to your pet through this app. This is made of biodegradable and recyclable products, and you could even eventually purchase I See You Pooch treats for your pet. So our market size. Our market size is pretty big. There are 43 million dog owners in the United States, and they own 62 million dogs. So this is a pretty wide demographic. Also, the pet product industry is expected to increase from $5.2 billion to $6.9 billion within the next 5 years. So we are aware of our direct and indirect competition as I See You Pooch. These include things such as doggy daycare, doggy walkers, second dogs from expensive breeders, web monitors, and automated food dispensers. And these are all a more expensive option to what I See You Pooch offers, and I See You Pooch gives you more, so it's obviously the way to go. So customer validation, we did a lot of surveys this weekend. We did a survey online, and we also went to Petco to get some customer validation, see if they would, you know, buy our product. And we got them to say that 90% of them would be interested in buying I See You Pooch, and they would be willing to pay anywhere from $200 to $300 or more for this product. 15% of respondents also said that they would pre-order I See You Pooch today, so that's pretty cool. Our go-to-market strategy. Our strategy to go to market is to create internet awareness, go through Facebook and Twitter and tell people what it is that we're doing, what our product is. Also, we would market it to pet boutiques and veterinarian clinics, and our hope would be to partner with large retail stores such as Petco, PetSmart, Walmart, and many more. We could also sell I See You Pooch products through the internet. So our pricing and revenue model, we decided at a retail price of $225 and accounting for 1.5% of the 43 million dog owners within the next 5 years. So after Startup Weekend is done, we will continue to do market research and pursue the marketability of the product, basically just test marketing everything that we've done. So ultimately, we know that the dogs will eat the dog food, both realistically and figuratively. And I am Brooke Martin, and I am with ICU Pooch. Thank you. And we have another team member to come up here. Kayla. Come here, Kayla.
We didn't get to practice this part.
Kayla, come here.
Big star, TV star.
Okay, who's got the mic? We'll open it up to the judges now.
Such a cute idea, and I really want to compliment the designer, whoever did the design work. It's great, excellent. Do you have a working model?
We do not have a working model at this point. We know how it would work if we were to build it, but right now it was just kind of like a prototype model thing, so.
Okay. I was just curious to see if dogs would really interact with it.
Yeah, product prototype existed, where you have Wi-Fi, interactive solenoids that give out treats and so forth, so yes. And there are products on the market that have video, camera, and that kind of stuff, but not two-way.
And not a treat delivery where you can actually interact and create that reward system and connect with your dog.
Who was doing the survey at Petco?
I was.
Do you think that if it wasn't you, 15% of customers?
Oh, come on!
That's an unbelievable statistic. It's amazing.
Hey, well, that's part of the marketing strategy.
We told you the dogs would eat the dog food.
No,
that's why we have our this is our chief of marketing right here.
All right, I'll get my check. So the one thing, and I thought it was great and secure, and yet, in all seriousness, with these kind of businesses, there's hardware, like there's an actual product. So when you think about, like, I was looking at that slide, to have positive EBITDA in your first year would be, I mean, it's probably not possible, but so you just have to think about what has to go in with, if you really want to do it, like what you have to do to manufacture it, because it's expensive to have a hardware product. But really cool stuff.
You did a great job.
Thank
Very
you.
Nice. And so from the various retailers, because maybe you frequent them, maybe you've taken your dog to them, would one over another be your first pick and to try to partner with a retailer?
Does anyone else want to answer that question? I mean,
Sure. I think you'd probably want to target the boutique type shops first, because they're the ones that are really targeting the pet owners that spend a lot on their pets, whether it's, you know, doggy bling or custom clothing. I mean, it's ridiculous how much people spend. Maybe they might even spend, you know, $1,000 on a doggy stroller. So to spend $200 or $300 on a device that will allow them to interact with their pet when they're away is nothing to that type of a pet owner.
And I think we had a slide up there that tried to compare our both direct and indirect competition, so that you would have alternatives that people are willing to spend, but may or may not provide the same kind of owner satisfaction.
Anything else? All right, let's give a round of applause.